Maid of honor, so please we need your attention. Thank you.
Oh boy. Okay, ready.
All right. Not sure how we're going to follow that one up, but we'll try. Also, we have a lot of estrogen flowing, so we'll probably cry. Right now?
Already am.
All right. Good evening, everyone. For those who don't know us, we feel sorry for you. And for those who do, you're welcome. We are Morgan's older and younger sisters. I'm Megan. I'm Maddie. And we are her co-maid of honors. We are so excited to be here tonight to celebrate Morgan and David's wedding. We are also very excited to have an open mic to talk about our Morgy Porgy.
Oh no.
Morgan and I grew up 3 years apart, and given that I was the older sister, she became my real-life baby doll. I would pick her up, put her down, drag her down the slide, boss her around, and she never really seemed to mind much. That might have also been because she couldn't talk until she was 3. So I guess she just accepted her fate. For as long as I can remember, Morgan has always been on a mission. Whether that was to be with the big kids, dragging her own Easter basket, or jumping in the pool alone in her swim diaper and pacifier. No matter what she did, she was bound and determined to figure it out for herself. One game we loved to role play growing up was Toy Kitchen at our famous No Bugs in the Kitchen restaurant at Grandma Phyllis's basement. My cousin Ashley and I would see how long we could lock Morgan in the toy fridge. When the house would go quiet, my mom would come running in and for the 200th time tell me and Ashley, the fridge is for toy food only, not for Morgan. But every time my mom whipped open that toy fridge, there was Morgan, smiling from ear to ear, just happy to be tortured by the big kids. The 3 of us girls have grown up inseparable, constantly in communication, whether we were in the same room or hundreds of miles away from each other. Growing up, our mom would load up the minivan to drive us to and from dance rehearsals, swim team practice, or soccer practice. We've spent a lot of those car rides over the years dreaming of what our perfect wedding day would look like. As we got older, we started sending Instagram photos to one another and creating Pinterest boards while we compared the different preferences we've had. Dreaming of the perfect engagement ring. Good job, David. Different locations, color schemes, etc. On our birthdays, we would dance with our dad to the father-daughter song he had selected at our birth, romanticizing of our future weddings. On those car rides, we always promised to make the other 2 remaining sisters the maid of honors, or now matron, and to never just pick only one sister, although we all know who she would pick. All of these details, no, wrong. All of these details have been compiled to create our dream weddings. What felt so futuristic for all of those years has become a reality tonight. Now for Morgan and David's story, David, you may not know this one, but Morgan manifested this marriage long before she even met you. Every December, we would take the Christmas cards that we received from family and friends and hang them in our living room window. Every couple nights, when more cards would come in the mail, the 3 of us girls would scour through the photos and joke about who we were going to marry someday. We would shuffle up the family Christmas cards, weed out the single sons, and rate their potential husband material. I can confirm that some of you sitting out here today have been included in this conversation and probably don't even know. So, when we would look at those Christmas cards every year when we received the Monti's Christmas card, Morgan would hold it up in the air and without hesitation say, "This guy, this is the guy I'm going to marry someday."
Not Joey.
Yeah, it was Megan and I would laugh at her and tell her that he would look better if he didn't have any facial hair. Which, as most of you probably know, and from our personal experience, that is absolutely not the case. As we moved through the other boys on the Christmas cards, Morgan would never budge. And now, every December, and almost 10 years later from that first Christmas card, Morgan always makes a point to remind us that, well, now she married this guy. On that note, if there's any single sons in the audience, I would personally love to expand our potential husband pool. So come find me tonight, I'll give you our address. Thank you. Anyway, every couple has a matchmaker, someone who helped push the couple together. Well, I've been waiting 6 years for this exact moment to accept that credit of being Morgan and David's matchmaker. It all started back in 2017 when I hired David as the pool maintainer at Veterans Memorial Park in South Windsor. Shout out to our VMP family who's here tonight. We love you guys. David emailed me multiple times after his interview, addressing me as Miss Overly, until I finally said, "Please, David, just call me Megan." Who would have thought that all those years ago that Miss Overly would be standing giving her speech tonight? Anyway, I had strategically planned to place David and Morgan at the same training table that summer, as I figured Morgan could probably introduce him to the other staff from town, as David was from Rocky Hill. As the summer went on, the two of them kept trying to make excuses to spend time with each other. During our preseason, the maintainers and the pool directors would open the pool, and given that Morgan and Madison were my sisters, they were forced to help me. In predictable Morgan fashion, she was desperate to not get too dirty and would sit by the pool. Morgan would always rearrange the toy closet or organize the swim lesson paperwork, while the rest of us scrubbed the bathrooms and cleaned the dirty pools from the winter. But this particular summer was different. David was headed to scrub algae off the bottom of the big pool, and there was Morgan running behind him with a big scrub brush, ready to help David. She didn't care what the job was, as long as she could spend more time with him. That was the moment I knew that she had found her person, or as Morgan and David like to say, a good investment. Okay. There is a saying that I have written to the girls ever since they were very little. And over time, the three of us would write it at the end of every little piece of paper we left for one another. We would write it on the whiteboard when we would visit each other in college. We would leave a sticky note on the bathroom mirror, or we would sign our birthday cards. The little note would read, "Go forth and do great things." This became our motto. There are not many words to sum up the sisterhood that the three of us share, but being a sister in this trio is one of the things that we are most proud of. There are some people who you love so much you can't imagine anyone being able to love them just as equally. But David, you are an exception to that rule. Thank you for appreciating, cherishing, and loving our sister the way she deserves to be loved. Morg, I've always admired the way that you and David continue to choose each other as you build your lives to complement one another. You selflessly give your whole heart to him, protect and care for him so deeply. We're so proud of the woman you've become, and we can't just see what is in store for both of you on your new journey as a wife. We're so happy that we can all be here today to celebrate our beautiful sister and her husband, who we've grown to love so much over the last 6 years. The true love that these two share for each other has been evident since the day that they met.
If everyone can join me in raising a glass to Morgan and David.
Cheers.